Now, here's some facts about why you can believe that the Bible is reliable and you can trust that what we have today is what the original authors had intended. Number one, we have thousands of biblical manuscripts, all right? Manuscripts are copies of the text. We have thousands of them. The original writings of the scriptures, the original copies, they were written on things like animal skins and other materials that didn't last long. However, we have a huge number of surviving copies, like in the thousands. In fact, the Bible is the best attested documents of all ancient writing. The New Testament alone, which is now over 2,000 years old, has over 6,000 surviving manuscripts. 6,000 ancient copies. What can you do with a manuscript? Like, why is it so important to have copies of documents? Because what you can do is you could take a copy from over here and take a copy from over here. You can compare them, and then what you can say is, well, if they don't match up, then someone's changing the story. But all these copies that they're finding, these 6,000 of just the New Testament alone, these copies they're finding is that these manuscripts were copied to the most intricate levels of detail. In most of these manuscripts, the only thing that changes possibly sometimes might be punctuation marks or spellings of words, but it's the same words, the same content. The next best ancient writing where we have a lot of manuscripts is Homer's Iliad. But guess what? There's only 600 surviving manuscripts of the Iliad, where we have 6,000 of the New Testament. The scribes who copied the scriptures, they took great care of their work. They were very detail-oriented. And why? Because they believed that they were doing something very important. They were preserving the Word of God. And so it's not like they had copy machines, right? They didn't just go like Xerox it, right? Like, oh, we need a new copy, here you go, boom. No, they had to get someone who could read and write. And what they would do is they would sit all day long and just copy letter by letter. And what they would do is they would make sure that every line starts with the same word and that the spacing was exact, because that way it'd be easier for them to check to make sure it's accurate. And then they'd have someone look at what they've done, that their copy. And if one mistake is found in the middle of the copy, they didn't get white out and go over it. They burned the thing. They destroyed it. Start over, right? Accuracy was ensured by so many safeguards. They counted the letters in a line on a page. But we can be certain that the copies that we have, that in all these manuscripts, we have the original wording in nearly every case. It's because of how detail-oriented these people were. And the cool thing is we're constantly finding more and more copies of the Bible. The most famous in the last 100 years were the Dead Sea Scrolls. They found those, I believe, in the early 1900s. And they actually found more Dead Sea Scrolls last year. They found more. And it was really a cool finding when they got these scrolls, because they opened them up and they looked at them like, because they were in these jars in a cave for thousands of years, and they opened them up and they looked at them like they are almost exact copies of the copies that we've had passed down for centuries. And so that just proved the Dead Sea Scrolls gave us a big wow, what we have is really well preserved. The evidence proves that the scriptures that we have today are accurate to the scriptures that were stored in those jars 2,500 years ago.